Oh my God. I just remembered I've been doing some facial comparisons of that photo and Keir Starmer, and it looks like it really is him. The glasses, the mole, the face creases, everything. But I remembered, and I've put a link in the description box below, it's all up on my socials. I had a dream last year where I remember I was in a basketball stadium rallying all these people together in the basketball stadium, and they were all excited, and we came out of the basketball auditorium and all piled into a bus. And there was an older man and older woman in the bus. They didn't look like King Charles and Camilla, but for some reason I thought in the dream it might have been King Charles and Camilla, but in the dream they didn't look like them. But they drove the bus and they left two people behind, and I made them go back to get the two people. And then we drove to this hall where there was this massive party, and Keir Starmer is dressed as a trans woman at this party. And I think I even remember saying about the bad wig and being a bit crap at it. Like it was obviously a man dressed in women's clothing, which is exactly what that image is. I'm just remembering this dream that I told my ex about when we lived in the old house as well, in Crigglestone. I dreamt he was dating this woman that was on the telly, on the YouTube, I think it was, but she was on the telly and she was blonde and her wig fell off. And I remember telling him about it, about him dating this blonde woman whose wig fell off. But yet, I mean, they're all in on it together, aren't they? So, yeah, the thing is, I'm kicking myself now because I had a dream. It's what woke me up. I was having a beautiful sleep, and I had this dream where I was so much trouble. I was so naughty and I was causing so much trouble in this dream, and now I'm kicking myself for not recording it. Because I woke up, I went to the wharepaku and I lay there and I was fully intended on going back to sleep, and I was thinking about that dream. And then that's when I saw the stuff about Lord Alley and everything. Because every time I get woken up from a dead sleep, I know God's telling me that codes are about to drop. So I have to sit and wait until the codes are revealed. But I had this dream where it was like old England, like where all the buildings are kind of around where I live. We've got like old halls and old churches and stuff like that. And I was getting these old ladies, these lovely old ladies, fleeing drunk. I had money. I didn't have to worry about money. There weren't that many people in the bar. It was called. It was sort of like an RSA or a working men's club or something like that. There weren't that many people in there where I was worried about paying, but I know that I didn't have to worry about money. And so I just said to everyone, the drinks are on me tonight. And I went to this table and there were these ladies sitting around, and I was saying to them, can I get you a drink, ladies? And they were saying, oh, we'll just have a sherry. And I was like, it's all free. And they were like, is it? And I was like, yeah, all the drinks are on me tonight. You don't have to worry about anything. And I remember one lady ordered a bourbon and Coke. One lady ordered a glass of wine, and one lady ordered a gin and tonic, and I made them triples. And then in this dream, like they were singing, they were like singing oldie songs. They were falling over, they were falling into bushes. I remember I was walking one of them home, like was walking one of them home because she lived not far from where the club was, from where the working men's club was, and she was falling into the bushes, and like she fell into the gate of like the church. I remember it was a Catholic church specifically. Don't know why Catholic, but and I was picking her up and she was singing and laughing and it was so funny. I was just like wetting myself. I was roaring and laughing. And then when I got her home, which was kind of like an how do I? It was like it wasn't an old people's home, but it was like an apartment residential area for old people who, older people who could, they still had, they could still look after themselves, and but they got to all sort of like be together, kind of like here, but it was like an apartment. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it would have looked like a rest home, but they had their own apartments inside the building. It wasn't like, in a rest home where they have a bedroom and a bathroom. This was like they could cook, they could clean, they had living rooms. It was their own homes, but they were all like together. And Jeffrey Epstein was there. And I was trying to shut the door on him. He was trying to get in. And I was shutting the door on him. He was trying to come at me. He was trying to get me. And I shut the door on him. I was shutting the door on him and like pushing him away. So oh my God, I had these people, they were fleeing drunk. They were taking their shirts off. They were so happy. They were celebrating. Everyone was just so happy. It's like they just threw caution to the wind. I wish I'd recorded it now because it makes sense for the dream that I had. I'll put the link in the description box. But I've been doing picture comparisons and it definitely looks like it's him. And then in doing that, I remembered the dream. And at the end, he's at the party, and I'm wondering if it's the party that I just dreamt about, because everyone was like dancing and singing and fleeing drunk in this kind of hall thing where there was a bar. And I think the party was for me, but I can't remember. I'd have to rewatch the video. So I think the fact that it was all like retirees in this dream that I just had, and then being fleeing drunk, me feeding them information that's going to make them giddy. I'm going to be feeding, me feeding people information, and because Labor have absolutely hammered people over the age of 65, he's hammered the elderly. I think I'm them getting information that's going to make them giddy. Because in dreams, to dream of alcohol, to dream of drinking and getting drunk, it's being fed information that's going to make you just like, oh my God, like, is this for real? Being fed information that's like too good to be true. Is it an illusion? Is this real? Can this really be real? And the fact that they were stripping off and hanging out windows and falling into bushes and falling into churchyards and stuff like that just means they're not going to be able to contain their excitement. They're not going to be able to contain their happiness. There's going to be jubilant celebrations. I keep saying it. And now they're saying it online as well, that when Keir Starmer's gone, there's going to be street parties. And I've been having dreams, remember, about like with the King Charles Vladimir Golden Dragon Key dream with the, England's Rose. People were having a street party then. Yeah, I've had a few dreams where there's been street parties. And now they're starting to say it. So, yeah. So but oh my God, I wasn't just getting them like a bourbon and coke. They were having triples, but they didn't have to worry about a thing. I'd taken care of everything for them. And the lady that I was helping home, oh my God, I was laughing so hard. I felt naughty because, like, respect your elders and all that. But it was just so funny to see them all carefree, like I, like I had I was sent to be a troublemaker. I had making trouble on my mind, but in the best possible way. They were going to have some hangovers in the morning, that's for sure. In my culture, like respecting your elders is everything, but no, I was totally corrupting them. That's so me. I was literally called, me and Amber and I were called the corruptors, the terrible twos. We were partners in crime. So I'm just having a coffee because I can't go back to sleep because I'm waiting for something now. I've got a feeling like I'm about to hear from someone. I'm waiting for something. Waiting in anticipation. I don't know what, but all my dreams now are starting to make sense, I think. I think this is it. I think I'm getting ready to go to Switzerland. I think I'm getting ready to go home. I can't explain it, but it's like ever since I knew that's where I wanted to go, once I actually made up my mind, once I actually saw the truth of that place and what it was offering, I can't see me being anywhere else. It's the sort of country where I'm actually, other than when they have the Davos meetings, but the World Economic Forum is imploding. The EU's imploding. It's not going to be long. Though I might not have to worry about them for much longer being in Switzerland, but it's brought me peace. My heart has peace for the first time ever. I left New Zealand at 15 when I moved to Australia looking for a place to belong, looking for that place at 15 years old where I felt like I belonged, where it felt like home, where it felt like I could be me. And that's Switzerland. With the other countries, I always worried about speaking the language or whether people would get me or understand me. And, some of them would tick some of the boxes, but not all of the boxes. I didn't have to worry about the language barrier in America. I didn't have to worry about them getting me. But my image and my personality in that, I think it always bothered me because I was niche. In Canada, I don't know. I wanted to live there. I was happy to live there, but I always felt concerned about how I was going to be obviously standing out, and maybe a little bit controversial because they don't treat their indigenous people very well. Same with the Americans, and I would have been making waves there. And yeah, I was nervous about how I would be received. Though I knew they'd be fine with the whole me rescuing kids thing, always worried about whether I would fit in, whether there was a place for me there. In Russia, like on paper, it just looked perfect, but the language, I can't speak the language. You have to know how to learn the language, and there's just too many people that have access to that country and are around President Putin and that I just can't be around. I can't have my kids around those kind of people. I contemplated Hungary, even Estonia, Poland. I mean, I've made so many different attempts. Could it be this country? I'd have dreams about, Canadian flags and being in America and what looked like Eastern Europe, Eastern Russia and all of that. And the doors were always closed. It was like I kept trying to push it and the doors kept closing. I didn't want to see that these places weren't for me. And then when it was kind of like, hey, why don't you give Switzerland another thought? Because it was just slowly creeping into my mind. Switzerland, Switzerland, Switzerland. Have you thought about Switzerland again? Just have another look at Switzerland. And then it was like, oh my God, how did I miss this the first time? With everything that happened between Yodok and I and the whole Facebook Martin, sort of thing, like I had just given up. I walked away from it, giving up, thinking, no. But then it's like, I had another look. And it's like, why can't I go there though? What's actually stopping me from going there? It's perfect. And the two cons weren't deal breakers for me. And when I made that decision, it just felt right. Like it was the right decision to make. And that dream that I had with the letterbox and all the mail coming through, me expecting bad news, and it ended up being a blessing in disguise. And me talking, and because it was my ex-husband, Paul, my first husband, and blah, blah, blah. And resurrection from the dead. Something being resurrected. And that's Switzerland. The prospect of Switzerland was resurrected. Something I'd given up on, something I'd walked away from, is now the focal point of my future. So maybe that party because remember I keep having dreams about, I had that party thrown for me at the hotel, and the man who looked like my ex Martin was rubbing my tummy and kissing my scars, and I was embarrassed, but he thought they were beautiful because he was proud of how I got them. He was proud of my scars on my back and on my stomach and that, because he was proud of how I got them. He was proud of me because I was someone that he wanted to be seen with. I was someone that he wanted to shout from the rooftops that he was in love with me and that we were together. And I have these scars because I fought bad people to save children. And what a woman. That kind of thing. But yeah, I'm all these parties that I keep dreaming about. I think I'm getting new. I really think that I'm getting news. I think I'm finally going to get out of here and we're going to leave on a celebration and everyone's going to be happy, and then I get to go to Switzerland and live out my wish fulfillment. I can't stop thinking about it. When I'm not causing trouble, I can't stop thinking about Switzerland and what I'm going to build when I get there. I can see it so clearly now. Like it's not even a matter of if, but when. So now I'm just waiting. So yeah, so I had a dream last year about Keir Starmer and Drake. I'll put the link in the description box below. I just keep seeing all those elderly people fleeing drunk. Good Lord. So, yeah, I think people are going to wake up very soon and their hellscape's going to be all over and done with, and there's going to be mass celebration because of information I've been feeding the public. Like a multi-millionaire with money in the bank who I remember as well handing the barmaid over my bank card and saying just keep it. Just keep it and then just charge it up at the end of the night. So yeah, here we go. Let's see what happens. Well, I think I'm getting ready to leave. I think I'm about to call Switzerland home. I can't wait. I can't get it out of my head. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.